Hello, Facebook Live. How are you today? Okay, so say hello to Ozzy. He's just gonna sit here watching him today. I first started to make some IG stories about the process that I'm going through right now with the aftermath of unfreezing these frozen emotions, releasing the shame. So as I released this shame, I was actually really surprised of how I felt the next day. And I started to begin to tell this on IG stories, and I was like, you know what? And I had I just saved them. I never posted them, and it was like 5, because you know how now you can record a whole minute on Instagram stories. I was like, there was 5 or 6 of them. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go live. Why not? This is the work. This is the work. This is what I teach. This is what I help women go process through. This is where you truly start to see the power that you have. All your pain gets transmuted into power with what I'm gonna share with you today. I was like, you know what? Go live. You're not gonna be able to talk about this in a short story and on IG stories where people's attention spans are so small and they're gonna just keep swiping through. I was like, do it live, because when you do it live, the person who really is committed to hearing what you have to say is gonna watch it all the way through. They're not gonna keep pushing through on IG stories. Even if they are somewhat invested in what you're saying. I also want to be, I don't want to have a limit on my time. Because you know how that is. You're looking down, you're looking to see if it's how much seconds do I have left to complete my train of thought. So I was like, you know what? Live. Facebook Live. So if you're here, hello, thank you, and welcome. I am Jessica Lozano. I am a women's empowerment coach and femme priestess. So I am a lover of women. I believe in our power. I believe in our strength. I believe we can overcome so much, and I believe we underestimate ourselves. And I know I've underestimated myself, and that is what I'm here to help women break free from any blockages that they're having, in their relationships, in their own self-worth, and money, and all of that, in their body. So let's begin. Oh, if you're watching, also say hello. Or if you're watching the replay, please say replay. And if you find that this is moving, you find that, you know what, I think someone, I really want to share this on my feed, because I feel that someone needs to hear this, or there's a specific person that you're like, you know what, here, share this story, or here, babe, whatever, you need to hear this. I think this is what you need right now. So if you feel called to, please do so. You're absolutely not obligated at all to do that. But if you feel called, go ahead. So, okay. So Wednesday night, I gave the transmission, a living masterpiece, the greatest work of my life. And when I hit end at 11:10 at night, hello, first off, I don't really felt like I closed it properly for myself. For whatever reason, I think I just went on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and I really feel that I should have closed that energy off. It was the full moon. I mean, if I could go back and redo that, I would go back. I would go outside under the moon and just close the energy, but I didn't. And I think that was my first mistake, because I was in ceremony all day. I had this altar, I had my other altar over here, which I kind of messed up a little bit. But I am glad that I kept everything as is. I didn't change anything, because the next morning I woke up so angry. So angry. And I haven't really felt this type of anger in a long time. And I used to have a lot of anger issues from, if you watch my transmission, after my mom got deported and she didn't tell us because it was too painful for her, I became a very angry child, like angry and very explosive, and just anger has to go somewhere. And when we do not know how to manage our anger, we just project it onto people and we cause people pain. So yesterday I woke up with a lot of anger and I was like, whew. And I know why I woke up with a lot of anger. At first I didn't know. At first I was like just angry. I was just like so angry. And then what I realized is it was a sisterhood wound that I felt. I realized because I was angry that didn't have as many of people watching it, and I was really angry about that. You know, it was just like, oh, God, like I felt like I marketed it well, you know, and like I really wanted sisterhood. Like at the end of the day, after I pushed everything off to the side, all the superficial layers, when I really got deep in there, I was like, I didn't feel the sisterhood that I wanted, even though I did have some beautiful women show up and share their, witness me and be and hold me so I can be seen. It just dug this hole, or just opened up this sisterhood wound that I had been feeling. Not that I had been feeling, that I have pushed down under for so long, for so freaking long, probably since I was 6 years old when my mom got deported. Because I was angry, because I became a very angry individual, I push people away. No one's gonna say hi to someone who has an angry face on them. Nobody wants to be there for them. They're like, I don't want to be on the receiving end of whatever that person is feeling. It's like, no, thank you. My ex-fiance, he would tell me, like, the man that I spoke about yesterday in the transmission, he would even tell me, he's like, nobody wants to hug a porcupine. Like, no one's gonna do that. And that's what I just deeply craved all my life when I was having this anger. All I really wanted was to be hugged, for someone to tell me that they loved me, for someone to tell me that everything's gonna be okay, for someone to tell me that, like, I love you, and it's okay that you feel anger, it's okay that you feel alone, it's okay that you feel all of these things. Because that is what my 6-year-old really needed from my dad, number one, who couldn't give that to me. He didn't know how to deal with it. He doesn't have emotional intelligence. He didn't know how to deal with a mother just disappearing, in a sense. He knew she was leaving. They knew the logistics of, she was gonna go and she was gonna stay for, they thought 2 months, ended up being 2 years. But he didn't know how to handle that. So I pushed women away, probably because my mother also, what I felt was an abandonment from my mother. I felt abandoned from both parents at that time. So of course, mother, female, I pushed my friends away. I go in gymnastics. I always felt really lonely in gymnastics because I was so angry and I was just a bitch. I am not gonna fucking lie. I was a bitch. I was. Because I didn't want people to get close to me, because if they got close to me, they were gonna leave me. Thus how I ended up with this trauma bond with my ex-fiance, and how he would play that game. He would withhold love. He would threaten our relationship, and that hurt my inner child so much. I'm like, please don't leave me. I'll do anything. And I bent over backwards for him and gave him pretty much my soul. Right? I lost myself in him until I finally woke up. But what I was craving that night was like, the Wednesday night when I gave that transmission, was just sisterhood. And I felt like, even though there was women there, like I didn't fully receive that. And I have friends, and I keep a very small circle of friends, probably to not feel hurt by women. also because I've hurt women. If you listened to my transmission last night, I've hurt women deeply, in one of our deepest sisterhood wounds. So of course I don't feel I'm deserving of women. Of course I'm like, yeah, of course no one showed up, or not as many people showed up, because I'm not worth it. I'm not deserving of it. And that is where my anger came from. That is how I felt the next day, yesterday. I was just angry, but really behind that anger was that little girl that was just so sad that she didn't feel the community that she really wanted. Because it's not just in the sisterhood, it's also in my family. Growing up, because my dad is such a poor communicator, and for whatever reason, me and my brother are always the last to know about anything that's happening. We are the last to get invited, you know. When we were growing up, we were told last minute about things, just because my dad didn't share it in my birthdays. My birthday is October 28th, like just around the corner from Halloween. How many kids do you think showed up to my birthday party? Not many. Number one, I have an attitude problem, and then number two, it's like right around Halloween. Everyone's having some kind of Halloween party, so I'm probably last on the list. You know, had to prepare so far in advance, and then because my dad he also was at the time where he doesn't like Halloween and all that. It's like the devil, whatever. And your parties have to be planned really way ahead of time. I don't think my parents did that at all. They're very Colombian in that way, very last minute, throw parties last minute, don't plan ahead. So my little girl doesn't understand that, and she's just like, why aren't there people here? Where are my friends? Or it's tied into something else, and I'm just like left over there, ignored, you know, to the side. So after this transmission, and after like I woke up angry, I was like, why? Where's the sisterhood? Maybe I should have really asked for that in the beginning. Maybe I really should have been open and upfront, but honestly, I don't think I really knew that's really what I wanted until the day after. Until I unfroze all of those unthawed, those feelings about the two shames that I was holding around. Because once I also spoke about that, all the other feelings that had been frozen, that I haven't processed, that I haven't held deeply and let her be seen, came out. Betrayal, unlovable, unlikable, unworthy, lonely. Because that time that I shared in my transmission yesterday, the very last, like the peak of when me and my ex broke up the first time, when I started sharing you how horrible it was. I don't even know if I really painted that picture very well. But like, I felt so betrayed by my clients. Like no one liked me when because I decided to stay there at the where I worked, because I was dating the boss. And I decided to stay there probably because I just really liked punishment. And I was so alone. Nobody liked me. I felt so unlovable. I felt so worthless during that time. And all of those feelings came back yesterday. First, it was anger. I was so mad. And eventually I had to get on with my day. You know, I woke up angry. And I went to the gym. That felt better. It was booty day, so that, of course, made me feel better. Did a walk and came back, and I was like, I really need to process this. I put some music on, some rock. I was like, I'm angry. None of this spiritual, like, you know, sensual dancing or just like moving my energy, like, that's not what I need. I need that fucking metal. I need to rock this out. I need it to be loud, because I'm going to scream. I know I have so much that I need to get out of me. So I come home. Actually, before that, I was like, I really want some cookies. So I'm like, I'm gonna bake some cookies. So I put them in the oven. I'm like, you know what? I really need to process this because I could, you know how you feel it, like in your blood, in your skin. You feel it coming up. Like you just feel this tenseness. Like, and you feel like if anybody says anything to me today, I'm gonna give it to them. You know, like that's how you feel. And I knew I was feeling like that, and I didn't want to do that at all. I didn't want people to be the victim of my anger, right? Luckily, I'm not around a lot of people, but I definitely didn't want to give that off to Ron or to anybody. And I'm trying to remember if before or after. As a matter of fact, I think just as I was done putting the cookies in the oven, my mom called me. And I was telling her kind of what I was feeling. She was also feeling very raw, like she's sick, right? She's getting over sick. Nobody ever is in their right state of mind when they're sick. And it's a full moon. She's very sensitive to the moon. And then we have a little tiff. So what I didn't share last night about my transmission is that me and my mom went through a very hard time during that time of getting involved with my ex, and then up until the time that we broke up. Very, very hard. Not only did just me and my mom not have really good communication, and not only was my mom going through her own shit that she's trying to go through, she's moving to another country intentionally. You know, she's packing up her shit and leaving. That has a whole bunch of stuff that she's dealing with. She's still having, I don't think she ever processed a lot of stuff from when she was a child up until like, you know, to how old was she? Was like in her 40s at that time, mid 40s. So me and my mom are not getting along at all. Like we had a really bad fight that day that my ex came back and did the whole knight in shining armor thing. We went at it bad. And I went with her to Colombia. And then even more, I felt ambushed during that time because of my mom. Because they wanted to talk to me about getting back with my ex, and she just ambushed me. And like I was like, what the hell? And I just said the meanest things to her too. I felt so bad. But we were not, you know, and she did things to me too. So when she said something to me that like hurt me when we were on the phone, and I was like, you know what, we just need to get off. I'm gonna get off the phone. This is not gonna end well. And that's when I was like, I'm putting that fucking rock music on. So I put it on and I'm just like shaking my body. I'm just like rocking it out. I actually start headbanging, you know, when you're the rock and roll was like, they start moving their head up and down. You see their hair. I'm like, I was doing that. I was just like getting it all out. And like my neck is actually really sore from that. All those muscles haven't been used like that. So I'm doing that. I'm screaming on the top of my lungs. Like you can see the veins popping out of my neck, out of my forehead. And then all other stuff just starts coming up. All other stuff where I felt the same frequency, the betrayal, the unworthiness. Like, why aren't you sticking up for me? The like, stand up for me. You know, have a fucking spine. Like I was saying all of this shit. Stuff that I really don't want to say right now because it was really intense, and I'm just screaming into the pillow. Luckily, we live in like in a house, so people can't hear me. I'm not like in a complex where people are close, so maybe if somebody's walking down the street, they could probably hear, but I had the music on really loud. I'm like headbanging. I'm taking this pillow here and I'm hitting it against this beanbag chair. I'm punching the beanbag chair, just going at it, just releasing all of it. Release. Letting it out, looking up the words to the song, singing my heart out, right? Really activating that throat chakra, really activating that solar plexus, because everything that I screamed out was everything that I wanted to say to people in their face. Like, you know, the shit that you don't you don't say to people's face because it's going to hurt their feelings and it's just going to create like you're just attacking them. Like that is what I would say. Just flat out everything. I did not censor because obviously they're not here. So I can do that. I have the space, but it's like what my inner child, what my 20-year-old, even things that happened recently, because there's actually a coffee date that I was supposed to be on today with this woman in my life. I'm just going to say it, my mother-in-law. Me and her are having issues from something that she attacked me. And I was supposed to have a coffee date with her. And I was like, I can't show up today. I canceled that because I know I'm very raw and vulnerable, and there's still a little bit of that anger in me. My highest intention is to really heal what happened between me and her. I can't show up like this. So even from what happened about a year ago with me and her, and Ron was present with that, all of that came out too. Because all of that was, there's a quote in the Course in Miracles is that you're never upset for the reason you think. So when that whole thing went down, it wasn't about that. It was about all the way from my dad and growing up with him. That and my mother. Fatherhood wounds, mother wounds that are just showing up now. They're replaying itself because they haven't healed. And an opportunity for me to step up and do it. So I'm processing all this, right? I feel like I've gotten it all out of me. Luckily, Ron comes home at the right time. And I thought I had more time. He was supposed to come home at 6 and he came home like around 3 or 3:30. And I'm like, you're lucky you didn't come in like 20 minutes earlier. You would have seen my that dark feminine sacred rage just come out. I would have been like, I'm just gonna tiptoe out. Obviously, like I wouldn't have put anything on that to him. And I told him how I felt. I was like, I'm processing. I have a lot of anger in me right now. He's like, okay. So kind of, of course I still got to do things. Can't remember what else I did that day. Even though it was just yesterday. I had a cookie. My cookies were done. I pulled them out in the middle of this whole sacred rage session. Pulled the cookies out. Let them cool down. After I was done, I had a cookie and a half. Or I think I actually had 2 cookies. That felt really good. And then I woke up today. And then I just felt raw, sensitive, vulnerable. Vulnerable in the sense of not vulnerable coming from strength. Vulnerable is like, I'm gonna cry any second, which is why I canceled. I was already thinking about canceling with my mother-in-law today last night, but I was like, let me just see how I wake up today. Definitely did not. Was not in the place for that. And today, I feel like what I need is just love to myself. I grabbed my 20-year-old here. This is who I was setting free yesterday, and I just hugged her and I spoke to her, and I'm like, I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you when you needed me at the time. During that time, I didn't, I was lost, confused. I didn't know how to nurture myself. I didn't know all the things that I know now. So, of course, sorry about the dog if you can hear it. Ozzy! Come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. So, I didn't know how to give her love. I didn't know how to walk her through everything she was going through. As a matter of fact, she was addicted to drama. She was addicted to that kind of pain and suffering, which is part of the trauma bond that I had with my ex and with my mother. So I just talked to her and I told her everything, that I'm like, I'm here for you. I love you. 1 second. Ozzy! Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here, buddy. Come on. Come here. Oh, okay. Stay right here. Yeah, stay right here. So I told her how much I loved her, and I held, and like she just wanted to be loved. And to be honest, yesterday I was resisting how I was feeling too. Yesterday I was like, why am I angry? Like, why am I still feeling like this? Like, why? Oh God, like the reason why I did the transmission last night was to set myself free fully, like to be done with the story. It was so, I think I was angry about that too. I'm like, wow, I'm supposed to be really happy today and free. Ugh, you know? So I was angry about that and was resisting it, even though I knew what was happening. There was a part of me that was resisting it, that was resisting feeling what I was feeling. I was angry, and other parts of it that have to do with like other areas that I'm struggling with, which I don't want to get in with today, but I am going to talk about it in another transmission. So, and then today, and I remember I was talking to someone on Facebook. I was watching their story, their Facebook story about what they went through, and they were talking about quantum leaps and things like that, and I kind of tell her what I was feeling, and she's like, just, you can hold the flip side. Just hold yourself through it. And then that's when I woke up today. I'm like, I don't know if I've been holding myself. I think I was just going through the motions, and I knew a tool that I could use, and I did it, which helped a lot. Obviously, it definitely helped move this energy a lot faster. And I was like, I'm not really holding myself. I'm judging myself. So that was like today, I was like, just gotta hold myself and just love myself and communicate more with Ron and be like, I'm still vulnerable today. I'm still sensitive, you know, and there's certain things that I need and certain things that I don't want him to do because it doesn't help me. And I'll share about that. And then, yeah, I've just been holding myself. And then that's when I wanted to share it on my IG stories. And I'm like, I need to share this on Facebook Live. So I'm still in this process. But I'm definitely feeling better, especially when I'm sharing it with you so I can transmute this pain into power, into a teaching moment. And this is what I help women do anyways. I help women walk through this because it's uncomfortable. This is what we avoid. Everything that I'm telling you about yesterday and about today, like we avoid these feelings because it's uncomfortable. And we've been told to avoid these feelings. We've been told, like, you just gotta sweep it under the rug, or you just gotta think positive. Think about what you want. Don't pay attention to these emotions. Like, they're not gonna get you anywhere. And on a certain point, they're right. But you have to know when to use that. And when you are spiritually bypassing what you're feeling and then refreezing the exact emotions that you're trying to let go of so you can create more space in your energetic field, so you can open up your heart chakra and really feel that love for yourself, so you can open up your solar plexus chakra. So you can open all your chakras, your root, like all of these are connected to our traumas and how locked they are. And when we freeze these emotions, we block the things that we desire in our life to come, and just not even just that, just having our own peace of mind and feel that wholeness. Because when, it doesn't matter the things that you have in your life, when you don't have peace of mind, when you don't feel whole and complete with who you are, you're always a prisoner to yourself. You have to live with yourself every day. And unfreezing these emotions is how you do it. And this is what happens afterwards. This is the feelings. This is the process. It's not always pretty. It's not. I know I'm going to feel better on the other side because I've gone through this so many times. And I know the power that comes from it. I know the wisdom that comes from this. but during it feels uncomfortable. But that's okay. I'm here to tell you that that is okay, and you are so much powerful and stronger than you think. You can hold this. You can hold it. You can hold it by releasing the resistance about your own judgment. So that's the first thing I want to share with you. When you are in the aftermath of your taking personal responsibility, of speaking your truth, of journaling, of uncovering trauma, whatever it is, of getting triggered, you're going to feel feeling, then you have to honor them. That's the first thing you need to do. Honor how you feel, no matter how dumb you think they are. Even if it's over something small. You have to honor them. You have to honor them. Honor it. Honor it. Honor you, because that's, you are feeling that. That part of you that has been frozen in the past wants to be honored and wants to be seen. She doesn't want to be kept in the closet anymore. She doesn't want to be tucked in the back of your mind or tucked in that deep, dark corner or at the bottom of your heart. No. She wants, or he wants to be seen fully in your rawness. In her rawness, in their rawness, in their pain and their struggles, because that part of you is all what they really wanted. That's all she ever wanted, was someone to tell her that she is lovable. She is worthy. And no matter what someone said to her or no matter what she's done, that is what she wants. And that's the next thing. Let her feel the shit. Let her feel. Let her cry. Let her cry her fucking eyes out. Let her maybe shed a couple of tears. Maybe it's not that deep. Maybe it's just a couple of tears. That's okay. Let her scream. Let her vocalize what she wanted to vocalize that she never could. Number one, it probably wasn't a nice thing to say. Or number two, she was told that she couldn't. Her feelings were not validated. Let her speak. Let her speak her truth, no matter how ugly it sounds. Just let her. And I know some of us have really dark minds. Let that go. Physically express it. Hitting shit, moving wildly, ecstatic dance. Maybe it's sexual dance. Maybe it's hitting a pillow. Maybe it's getting a bat and hitting it with your pillow. Maybe it's some bioenergetic movement. Maybe it's shaking your body. I was like tensing my arm and I was just like, oh, like if this could express itself, how does it feel? And it just felt like my arms just like tensing my muscles. And then I moved it and then I hit. And I would scream on the top of my lungs because I was just so angry. You know, when you're angry, that's what you feel. At least that's how I feel. Let her cry and let her be held. Maybe she just wants to be hugged and loved. Maybe she wants all of the above. Maybe she wants other things I haven't mentioned. But let her be seen. Let her and be witnessed by you and all of that. And then communicate with the people around you. I have to communicate with Ron like I'm sensitive right now. I'm angry. Like I just want you to know I'm angry. You know, so I'm sorry in advance if I do something, but I will take responsibility again if I do something. But just know that I'm angry. It's not for them to tiptoe around you and for them to be fearful of you. It's just for them to know, like, okay, she needs some space. And then you can vocalize, like, I need space, or I just need you to really hug me today. Or, you know, maybe there's some acts of service or whatever it is that you need. Maybe there's certain love languages that you need from them at that time, like to write you a letter or just many different things. Ron loves to touch my body. He loves to, like, he thinks I'm so sexy. He gets turned on by me by just whatever I do, which I love it. I'm so grateful for it. It makes me feel like, I'm woman and sexy. But when I'm feeling like this, I don't want him touching my boobs and my ass and, you know, feeding into my sexual energy. I don't want that. That is not what I need. It is not what I want. And then as a matter of fact, it makes me feel more agitated. So I just communicate with them, like, just, it's not what I need today. I just need you to hug me. You can caress my body, but just caress it. Don't, like, sexualize it. And then, thank you to Katerina. She mentioned this in one of her posts, my mentor. She was like, she made a post about treating yourself. Like, she said, I'm not going to just treat myself well when I'm going to celebrate something. I'm going to treat myself well when, even when I'm in my shit. I was like, yeah, that's why I made the cookies. Because I read that either before or after I did it, and then I read it and I was like, yeah, that's why I made the cookies. I'm always putting aside making cookies for whatever reason. I'm always just like, nah, I don't want to make it today. I just feel lazy. But I really wanted cookies yesterday, and I have all the ingredients. I didn't have to even go anywhere. I was like, I'm going to treat myself to that. And it wasn't an emotional eating, because I only had 1 or 2 cookies. If I was emotionally eating, I would have ate all of them. Or ate 2 there and then ate 2 later. So I definitely know it was an honoring of myself and what I really needed. So treating yourself with the utmost, like, 5-star respect and love. Like, if you were if you walked into a 5-star hotel, how would they treat you? Like, what would you really want? Because at a 5-star hotel, they're like at hands and feet for you, right? Anything you want. It's luxury. That's why they treat you like that. So how do you want to be treated? And that's why I made the cookies. That's why I put on the clothes that I'm wearing right now, to just still love myself and know that I'm worthy of whatever I want, even if I feel like shit. We're going to go out to dinner tomorrow, and I'm going to hold both energies. Hold both ends of the spectrum, the flip sides of each. My pain that I feel of everything that has been frozen, and the glory of me and all of who I am, and the pretty and the ugly, and the villain and the victimness, and the hero, the warrior, like all of it. And then you just keep repeating that. You got to keep repeating these steps until you finally feel like you've come over to the other side. And you will know when you come to the other side, because you feel like you'll probably get some new downloads, some new inspirations. You feel this love for yourself, a deeper sense of love. You'll feel a deeper sense of wholeness and inner confidence, because you walked with your fears. That creates confidence. Knowing that you got yourself. You can handle this. So you create confidence. And you just feel so good afterwards. And that is how you become and how you are a living masterpiece. Your life is a living masterpiece. You are constantly in a co-creation of the greatest work of your life. That's why it's called living. So I've named that transmission a living. And that is not from me. That was from Melanie Ann Layer. So I'm definitely going to give her credit for that. I know she said that several times. And I was like, this is the perfect headline for this transmission. Because it's true. It's not about the things that I have and the man that I have now and, the life that I'm creating and all in the clothes and the body or whatever. Those are just side effects of the inner beauty that you unleash, that you remember, that you feel. It's all of this inner work. This is the work. This is how you become a living masterpiece. Artists, sometimes the greatest work comes from their deepest pain. Because that art, those emotions need to get processed, and they create some beauty out of it. And you don't always have to be in pain, but to create great art, or for you to be a living masterpiece, your living masterpiece is also going to be all of the other accomplishments that you have. But usually on the back end of those accomplishments is what you've overcome to get there. And that You know, when they say it's not about the journey, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Like, this is the journey. This is the journey. So this is the journey. This is what I'm here to help women with. If everything that I've been saying sounds like, damn, I need this, or I want this, I want to learn how to do this, my one-on-one coaching is perfect for that. You can send me a DM if you want to learn more about it. It's a 3-month commitment. It's a high-end container. You get the highest access to me. I will be there with you. I will walk with you to the other side. This is for women who are in either you're in a relationship and you want to find your inner strength, or you are not in a relationship, but you find yourself in these relationships that just belittle you, powerless, attracting, just the wrong partners. Like, like that's just always drama. So like, that is what my one-on-one containers are for. Or if you're not ready for that long-term commitment, my one-on-one intensives are for you. It's a 2-hour coaching session where I'll be channeling as well information from spirit for you with what you're going through. And this is like, if you really, number one, you're not ready to commit to something like that, or like a long-term container, or you just want to feel me out for a little bit, because I get that. I'm so like that. Like, I really need to feel people out before I fully commit to something like of a higher price point. Or there's just one thing that you need, you need a shift, or a couple of things that you need a shift in your life. And that 2-hour that 2-hour coaching session will bring you that answer. So that's what that one is for. So you can DM me if you have any questions about these 2 offers that I have right now, and these 2 ways to work with me. Space is limited, so please make sure you reach out. But that is what I'm going to share with you today. I think what I'm going to do next is, when I come to the other side, I think I'm going to share my my experience, the downloads and all of that. So thank you for being here. If you were watching live or on the replay, I greatly appreciate you. Know that you're participating in my own healing and in your own healing at the same time. And especially for the sisterhood, as I mentioned before, which is one of my deep wounds that I'm really overcoming right now. I want to create more of that community within women, because we need it so bad. So thank you. DM me if you have any questions about the offers that I have. And I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.